Miss Martin. Thanks for being here today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yes. So you have a background as a nurse practitioner, and you've been a life care planner with IMS Legal Strategies for a while now. Can you tell us about how your clinical background helps you with life care planning?
Sure, it's been very helpful for me actually with these medical cases that we have. I've been a nurse in nursing for over 25 years,
Right.
a nurse practitioner for over 10 years. And so that really has been instrumental in these medical cases that we have. It really helps me as I'm navigating the medical records, as I'm investigating and seeing what is going on here with the injuries, the accident itself. And it's just been very helpful in navigating that whole system.
Okay. And are there any particular types of cases that you get excited about participating, maybe that you think is, kind of in your wheelhouse? I know you're qualified to do any of them, but what are you really excited about?
Sure. I love all the cases that we do. I find it all interesting. I really love complicated medical cases where there's multiple injuries, illnesses, and how do they all work together? What causes what? Not that we talk about causation, but what is the mechanism of this and the injuries and how that plays out into what they will need in the future medically.
And sometimes it must be difficult to take someone who maybe has a complicated medical history and try to see what did the actual accident or injury cause as far as future care needs versus what was a pre-existing need. Is that true?
That's true. That's true. We need to differentiate that and make sure that we're aware of what was pre-existing. And that certainly would not be included in future care if they had it before the injury, incident, whatever. So we would need to differentiate that. And sometimes they could be related if there was a change, if there was a change in the level of care, or, if they needed a medication, that would be certainly included. If they were on the medication before, it could be included if there was a change. Like I said, if there was a dosage change or some way that it needed to be adjusted because of the injury.
But like if someone's on cholesterol medication prior to the injury and they're on a cholesterol medication after the injury, the same dosage, that's not going to be related to the injury more likely than not, right?
Most likely, no.
Yeah.
That isn't related. So we certainly would not have that as future care.
And even though in a clinical setting as a nurse practitioner, you're prescribing things, you still collaborate with treating physicians, right, when you're doing a life care plan?
Yes. We do rely on them, the medical expertise for what their future care needs are going to be, if they need surgery, if they're going to need medications and things. And even though I do have that medical background, I can certainly collaborate with them and make sure that all our bases are covered, that we have equipment that we need, that we have supplies that we need that they might not be thinking about just because I do have that clinical background.
Right. As a nurse, if you're developing a life care plan for like a spinal cord injury client, you're aware of the catheters, the bandages, the wound care. And so you can bring that to the table, right, when you're talking to the treating physicians.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
And just details about like how often the bags need to be changed for a catheter. And those are just little details that I think nurses, and I am a nurse too, can bring to the table. I'm kind of fond of nurses.
That's correct.
So, we have a great team here at IMS Legal Strategies for life care planners. And we do a thing that's called peer review, internal peer review. Tell me about how that works and why that makes us stand out.
Yeah, peer review is actually one of our standards of practice as life care planners.
Yes.
I think it's very important. It helps us to ensure that we are presenting a quality product, and it just helps to have one of your peers review you. So maybe something that you overlooked, and it just gives another perspective and just answers those questions to make sure that we do have our bases covered.
Okay, last question. We also have a great group of vocational experts here at IMS Legal Strategies. How do you work with them, or what is their role in our process?
Yeah, actually, that's been very, very helpful in many of my cases. Whenever someone is injured, often we find that they are not able to do their job anymore. And it really takes an expertise, a specialist to look into all of that and to see, can they do their job? Will they be able to do their job at some point? What jobs can they do? Is there anything else that they can do in order to have an earning, potential in the future, and how that impacts the case. I think it's very important. And I think that is a component that is super important for these folks being injured.
100%. 100%. Well, thank you for your time today, Kerri.
Thank you.